Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. I'm very excited for today's pick a card. Today is the final collaboration of the year with Colleen over on the Spiritualistic channel. Now, the reason I'm excited for this collaboration is because we're going to get very weird and wonderful and go into the realms with this reading, which I'm super excited for. So, as you've probably seen from the title, I am going to be bringing in messages from the different realms that are here on Earth. So think the Fae, mermaids, the storm people, the tree people, the dragons, unicorns, all of that, the gnomes. Whereas over on Colleen's channel, she is going to be tapping into the realms beyond Earth, and she is going to be bringing through messages from those collectives. So I'm really excited to do that. And I'm excited to just like be able to bring wisdom from the different realms on Earth. I think whenever I usually tap into different realms, I go into the astrals and I go way beyond Earth, and I think there's so much beauty on Earth in the different realms, and I'm just really excited to put that into a reading and bring the messages in for you guys. So let's get in. Thank you so much to Colleen for asking me to collaborate. Really excited to bring these messages in, and I will have the link to the Spiritualistic channel in my description box for you guys to watch part 2 over there. But let's get in. So I have 4 piles for you guys to choose from. Pile number 1, we have the Father. Pile number 2, we have the Rose Quartz. Pile number 3, we have the Citrine Bonsai Tree. And pile number 4, we have the cockle shell. So see which object you guys are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what guidance and messages are coming through from certain collectives that you guys are connected to right now. So we're going to be taking a look at what specific collective and realm is really connected to your energy, and what specific collective really want to bring a message through for you guys. I'm really interested to see what comes through in the messages. So let's get in. So I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 1s. What collectives are coming through for my pile number 1s, and what message do they have? I'm really being taken to the gnome realm. Like, I'm really being taken there because it's a familiar realm. It's actually one of my favourite realms to go to. If you've ever been there before, you'll know what I mean. It's a beautiful, bright energy. Everything's vibrant. And I always find, like, with gnome beings, they have a very dry sense of humour and a sarcasm. And that seems to be coming through, which is quite interesting. And I feel very grounded then as I step in. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. I also feel like you guys have a strong connection to the Fae. I love how the card just flopped out when I said that. Yeah, I feel like you guys have a strong connection to the Fae as well, but we'll get through because it could be that both realms want to come through. We have strength, courage, and endurance. I'm just going to put 3 cards down and then I'll properly channel. But I do feel like you guys have a connection to both of these realms and these beings. We have the Page of Acorns, which is the Page of Pentacles, discovery and enthusiasm. I'm being told that you're arriving at a point where you are finally seeing who you are. And I think over the next couple of months, if it hasn't been evident already, it'll start coming in over the next couple of months. Anything that feels like toxic waste, they're calling it toxic waste, that is not good for you in your life, whether it's food, people, energies, environments, you're going to start seeing it. And there's a strong message is coming through from both realms. The gnomes and the Fae are both coming through, and they're saying you may, over the next month or 2, or it may have already been happening, find that things may be agitating you a little bit more than usual, or you may be looking around and feeling like, I need to change my clothes, I don't like this particular fabric. And you may even be finding that you may be feeling super sensitive to things, having a dislike for certain maybe objects in your home, or you know, seeing somebody a little bit more clearer and feeling like you don't want to be around them. The reason this is happening is you've reached a point where you've done a lot of work where you're starting to really walk with your higher self and embody it. Because of that, you're starting to see on such a deeper level that things that may not even have bothered you before, or you would never even realize they were affecting you, or that just don't really align with you, they don't really work with your energy, they're going to be coming up for you to work through. I don't think it's anything that you're going to be doing in the sense of healing. I almost feel like you've done a lot of that. It's almost like, right, we're putting the brakes on with that, even though we're always healing. So much vibrancy coming through from your pile, but I'll get to that in a sec. I feel like it's not that we stop healing. We're always healing. We're always working through something. We're always alchemizing something, but I'm being told you've done enough and then some. So what's happening now is you're eliminating physical things. I'm almost being shown, you know, Matilda, and she's like dancing around and she can move things with her hands, and she's like pointing at things and they start moving. It's almost like you're looking around your room or looking around your environment and going, go, leave, go. It's like you're seeing things a little bit deeper, which for some of you guys, I don't necessarily feel like it's going to trigger too much, but it's almost going to feel like you may be feeling really angry when you're around certain people, and it's because you may be taking on their anger, and you may need a little bit of a break from them, or really have to reevaluate certain boundaries with them. Or you may find that there was like a carpet in your home and there was a lot of energy kind of like connected to it, and you may be feeling this urge to just rip up the carpet. I don't know where that's coming from. It's because you're starting to really realize the energy that was stagnant there and you're wanting to pull it off. I'm also being shown someone chopping their hair, you know, cutting the dead ends of their hair. And obviously when we heal on a DNA level. And it really does change our DNA. Our hair is connected to our DNA. So when we cut off what's left, it's like we're letting go of the old. We're letting go of what once was. It's almost like a human version of shedding the skin. And that's something that I feel like some of you guys may be called to do. But there's physical changes that are going to happen. And over the next couple of months, if you feel like there's just like a block in the road, it's not a block in the road, I'm being told. It's for you to see where there was what's this word that I am looking for? There was a blockage in the flow of the river. You're seeing the stone not because it's there to be destructive, it's there and it's being shown to you so that you can pick up the stone and move it so the water can flow smoother. So pay attention to frustrations you're having, foods that you can't handle anymore, people that, you know, you may just be feeling super fatigued around, even just things with checking in with your own self and things that you're doing. Are you pushing yourself? Are you getting super fatigued? Or are you procrastinating and not wanting to get certain things done? It's like looking at little things like that. And, you know, screen time. I'm being shown someone with their phone screen time, like, are we on this a bit too much? Are we not looking at, you know, leaves and trees in the real world? Are we looking through a virtual reality? There's like an essence of that coming through. So there's a strong message for you guys to pay attention to that. It's so beautiful. It's like it's like I've got one foot in the realm, the norm realm. And to describe it to you, it's vibrant. It feels very earthy. The colors are really vibrant. I feel super connected to my physical body. The beings are just so full of love, but it's so warmth. And then when we tap into the fairy realm, which is also what I'm tapping into, it's funny because even though we think of fairies and we think of flying in the air, there are water fairies too. And there's a liquidized energy, if that makes sense. But it's like, it almost feels like evaporation. I feel like I'm walking on air, if that makes sense. And the way that I find the fae sometimes will communicate, when I first tap into them, it's almost like they'll speak really, really fast and I can't understand them. And then the more I tailor to their energy, there's a peacefulness that comes through and they start to bring in the messages and they flow. And they have a beautiful, the way they're coming through for me today, it's a very divine feminine energy coming through. A very beautiful collective energy. I feel part of a collective. It's really, really beautiful. And both those realms are coming through for you, which we'll see more of in a second. But there's a congratulations and just, you may even feel yourself being called to journey to certain realms and being called to look into certain realms like this because you're seeing beyond. I feel like whereas a lot of the times, especially with topics like this, people's ego will come in and go, that's crazy. I feel like you're able to kind of observe your ego, understand where your ego's coming from and be like, but I'm connected here from the heart. Does it really need to make sense for my brain? And I think you're doing that with a lot of instances in life where you're being called down newer paths. You're seeing things a lot deeper. It's really beautiful, the work that you've been doing to be in this vibration and walk with your higher self and not let things kind of pull you back. And I think the big clear out that I feel like you've been going through, but also some of you set out to do, I feel like you're at that point now where it's just like, when you wash a cup and this is what I do, like I'll pour water into it and then you have that, even though it's clean, you just have that final rinse just to make sure you're in the final rinse where just like little things now are just, coming out, and it's more physical. It's more so like, I know who I am. I like to be by the ocean, or I like to be by the beach. I need a lot of water around me. Even like little things like, oh, I feel really disconnected to the earth, and then like filling, your home with some plants and being more intentional with that. There's like a lot of little shifts like that coming in, I'm being told, and you're being called to make those shifts where you feel fit. It's more so the norms coming through to say that. It's like, set an intention with your space, where you're at, what you're doing, and you'll find that with that intention you'll feel more aligned, because it's like you're blazing the path before you step on it, so the path makes room for you when you set that intention. Sometimes people think when we set an intention we're just, we're doing a bit too much, but when we bless our water before we drink it, there's a reason why we do that. When we, whether you pray over your food, or you give gratitude to the earth for the food that you've got on your plate, or whatever the case, when you set that intention, we're creating our reality all the time. So when we set that intention of gratitude, it's like we're spray painting this painting that we've created, which is our life, with beautiful glitter and all of that. And the norms are very environmental friendly, I've always found. So it's like, but if you're using glitter, make sure it's biodegradable glitter. They're very I wouldn't say sassy, it's like a dry humor. So like, if you're using glitter, make sure it's biodegradable, okay? But that's what I'm being told. It's like you've got the pen in your hand and you're realizing this more than ever. So remember to set these intentions the minute you wake up and do these little things, and you may find that you feel even more aligned in that way. One more card from this deck, please. Pile number 1. What messages from these realms? 3 of Acorns, a lot of Pentacles energy here, foresight and exploration and discovery and enthusiasm, and we have the Chariot at the back, discipline and determination. Okay. Yeah, you know what it is? I said in one of my readings the other day, you may have been from that reading if they're using the same analogy, but I was saying that if I didn't say it, I'm just going to explain it again. When you have cement and it's kind of like liquid and you have to wait for it to set, I'm being told that you've alchemized, you're waiting for this cement to set while you walk on this pathway. It's almost like you've arrived. There's this message of it's spring and you've arrived. There's just little bits now where you're just making sure that everything's perfect. It's like the path's been created. Let's color it in. Let's make sure we've got everything that we need before we step foot again. I don't even feel like a lot of you guys are feeling fatigued. If some of you guys are feeling fatigued and still needing to rest a little bit, I think it more might be to do with like where certain energies are going, and that's where particularly the norms are saying to like clear that up, have a look where your energy's going. That's the little blocks that they're on about, the little rocks in the water. But for a lot of you guys, I feel like you've been hearing the message for a while, and I've seen with my piles for a while, there's been a message of rest, and I feel like you're coming out of that period of restoration now and ready to walk forward, and there's like this exciting chapter that you're walking on. But don't be disheartened if you've already been having these situations and you felt disheartened, or over the next couple of months when you see these little rocks. They're not to set you back. They're literally to like show you the way and help you move them out the way. That's literally all that it is. And it's almost like you're being called right now to rewire your brain as well. That's a strong message from the norms as well. You're rewiring your brain for this new chapter as well, by setting these intentions and getting rid of the old. It's like, I'm ready for fresh, I'm ready for new. And set an intention. I'm open to whatever comes through. Let's get, the right foods in my body that make me feel good, and let's get rid of anything that was holding me back onto that paradigm. Let's do that. Because with this giraffe looking above, it's like with the foresight and exploration, it's almost like they're telling me you're about to embark on something, and right now it's really a time of looking at where you're at and making sure you've kind of got your bag ready for this next adventure. I feel like that's more so the message coming through from the gnomes. So let's pull some oracle cards for you guys and get deeper. So pile number 1, what messages from the different realms? We have the Seeker. I think in this particular life, you're on a bit of an inner journey. You're one of those people as well that will, no matter what happens to you, you'll see depth to it. It's like, this happened and I learned this. This happened and I learned this. And yes, that was bad, but I learned this from it. So you are quite the alchemist in that way. I'm feeling like you're able to turn water into wine. Like, you're one of those people where you could go through something so heavy and then turn it to light. It's really, really interesting. And I feel like there's almost like this anticipation as well, again, coming from the gnomes. And it's like exciting to see, because it's almost like they're observing you. And it's like, it's exciting to see what you're going to make of this next chapter, because there's almost this feeling of a lot of light coming in. And it's like, I see you guys embodying yourself to the highest degree that you ever have, with so much wisdom. And I feel like you've learned this. I'm being told you've mastered a level of detachment, and they're being very careful what they say is to come in, because like, they're just showing me a path that's like going up and down, but it's like there's like this intrigue coming through, like, we're interested to see what you make of all this new stuff, and how you see this so deeply, and how you react to this, and how you react to this. And before you like worry, it's not anything tumultuous or anything like that. It feels fresh. Like, it feels like I've just drunk a fresh glass of water. There's this newness, and I think you're going to see a lot of new aspects of your personality come out, and I think that's what they're referencing as well. But they want to like mention and justify that you are a seeker, and I think that you've felt your emotions to such a depth that some people will never feel their emotions to, and you've maybe dived into your mental state at a depth that some people never have even tapped into. It's like you've really gone to the depths of the human experience. And there's this reference of there's more where that came from, but it's almost making me feel like it's more physical this time around. So I don't know if you're being prepared for, like, because they're telling me not to imprint too much, but you may be being prepared for new friendships or new relationships, or there's just fun. There's a bit of fun coming through, and there's it almost feels like when you start a spiritual awakening and you feel like, let's go down Wonderland, and there's this expansion. It's almost like you've climbed to the top of a certain paradigm. You've left a paradigm in the past, and now there's so much to explore. It's like you've been repotted, and you're actually in this new realm, and there's so much to grow and come from it. And there's an excitement of what's to come while you're in this part. You know what I mean? It's really interesting how that comes through. There's excitement here. And they're almost observing you like you're a part of them, which is really interesting, the gnomes. I feel like you may have the Fae as like a spirit guide, or you work with them, or because it's almost like they're around me, but they haven't said too much. So it could just be that they're energetically bringing a frequency through, or it could be that you guys have a guide there. You guys have like on an energy level, on a soul level, you may like reside with the Fae, or I almost feel like you're cut from the same cloth a little bit. That's kind of how it feels. It's really, really interesting, because they come through, but it's more just I'm feeling this how am I feeling? It's like it's like I'm being shown a shower coming over me, but it's like this crystallized water, and it's all around me, and there's just pure love, but it's like in waves, and it feels very, again, divine feminine, and it's coming through. So it's almost like they're coming through with a frequency rather than saying anything. It's like, you can feel me, I'm here. That's kind of how they're coming through. So it's almost as if they're your guides of some sort. So let's pull some more cards. Pile number, oh god, where's the gnomes? Like, yeah, we got things to say. Let's bring the messages through. Pile number 1. We have farewell to the moon. Appreciate and enjoy the lunar light and cycles. I'm just going to pull one more card to fit the other side. What have we got at the back of the deck? Wave of power, a surge of power, upswing in energy, exhilarate in movement. Let me just pull one other card to go this side from this deck, and then I'll channel from these 2 cards. Pile number 1. What realms? We have the Wheel of Creation. You're like, I feel like you're aware that you're in the spring of your life because everything kind of feels brand new. It's almost like you're just being called by the gnomes to like kind of like deadhead. You know when you have flowers and you have to deadhead them, you have to get rid of the deadheads. I don't know why I said deadhead so many times, but like you have to like remove that so new flowers can grow. That's coming through. What a beautiful card. This is the 3rd eye chakra, the back of the deck. It's beautiful. Let me make sure this is nice and straight. Okay. The Wheel of Creation, farewell to the moon, appreciate and enjoy the lunar light and cycles. And then we have the Wheel of Creation. I'm just hearing you've made it. I feel like you've been on with a full moon there, like you've been releasing for some time, I think. And I think you've also been in a period as well of fight or flight. And I think that the message is you're being called to reboot yourself, because I feel like, and there's a strong message coming through, you've done everything pretty perfectly. I feel like you've really like, there's like, I'm being shown like a piece of paper with things to do, like a to-do list, and it's just like tick, 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 and you've really hit the nails on the head. Whether it's been healing certain things that have come up, like you've never shied away from healing strong things that have come through, emotions that have come through. You've never shied away from that and being told. You've always felt them to a really strong capacity. To allow them to just really come out, and you've never half-assed it either, which is something that there's a lot of honor that they're bringing through, like that you've done that you haven't shied away from it, because they're aware, especially when you go to these realms, that they're a pretty high frequency, and they're aware, especially the norms are making me aware, like we know the frequency that human beings are in, we know the 3D frequency, and then to feel those emotions, we know that frequency can be very painful. So there's almost this honor coming through of you doing that. It's almost like they're observing you do it too, as if they would have been around you. So I don't know if you do naturally connect with the gnomes, or you just like going into like the forest, because you may even find that you've been around their energy and their realms and not realized it. Like you may just love being in the forest, being very close to the earth, and not realize that you were around them on a frequency level. But they've just definitely been observing, because they're referencing it. And they're referencing how deep you've gone, how many weeds you've cut, and like the work that you've done. And it's like you haven't shied away from everything, and it's like you've kind of gone round in a cycle where you've come up to the top, and that's why you're being reparted, because it's like you completely, it's like you outgrew a phase of your life and now you're being reparted into a new one. And it's like you didn't just go through these situations and keep going round in cycles, like you literally learned and moved on. And you did that. And it's like a praise coming through that you've done that. Even at the point where it's like, you know, it's time to rest. You've done that. There's almost this feeling of my body's feeling restored. So they're saying, please don't think that this is continuing moving forward. Like you're still down in the subconscious when these little things are coming up. It's just you in a state of rebalancing. It's like when you have to retune an instrument, or when you have to drive the car a little bit to get it used, you know, to get used to it. It's like you're rebalancing and rebooting your body right now. So there may be like little aches and pains, but it doesn't mean that you're going back down. So don't think that you are. You're up the top of the cycle now. You're just balancing out. And we have the Wheel of Creation here, because it's more so coming through like the flower of life. I know this isn't that, but it's like a flower open, and it's like, oh, you've arrived, you're somewhere completely new now. The troubles of the past aren't here anymore. And maybe it may take a second for your body to catch up, maybe your mind to catch up, and I think that's what they're referencing. But they're saying with intention and observance, you're going to really be able to embrace the new. But it's like, Like, it's going to be different for all of you. Some of you guys, I'm literally just being shown you having a new morning routine. Some of you guys are being called to like have a shower the minute you wake up, or just have water around you, or just like set intention with your water when you wake up and drink that. If you can get to a lake or a pond or an ocean, do that. For some of you guys as well, I'm being shown someone ripping a carpet up, or ripping wallpaper off, or like I'm even showing someone taking lamps down and putting new ones up, because that was the old, this is the new. It's really interesting. So it's like you're being called, when you see these little rocks come up, don't bat them away, don't run away from them, don't think, oh, why is this happening? They're coming up as a messenger to show you, oh, hey, this isn't working, let's move this out the way. You know what I mean? So when you're around someone and they're irritating, or there's emotion coming up, or you know, you're going on your phone and you feel in a certain type of way, listen to these feelings, because they're messengers, is the message from the norms coming through. So let's pull your final cards. I wanted to pull these crystal cards as like it's a gift, because whenever I do travel to these realms, they always bring me the beings that are there, they'll bring me a gift of healing. So I know that I can't do that collectively. That would have to be like your own journeys, but then I thought it would be nice if I could just like pop 2 crystals down, which would be their message, you know, their kind of gift to you guys through the crystals. So that's what I wanted to do to end the reading. So I think it's safe to say the norms came through for you in the norm realm. I think that you guys would find a lot of healing tapping into that, and maybe doing a journey of that on your own, going to that realm. However, I do feel that there is a strong connection to the Fae as well, because they come through almost like protecting, in a wall of protecting. It's just really, really interesting, them coming through like that. So pile number 1. I'm hearing One Way Street by Janae Aiko and Absol. So I'm going to say it again in case you didn't catch it. One Way Street, Janae Aiko, Absol. Pile number 1. We have the Howlite. What it is, Howlite, also known as white turquoise, is all about reveling in simplicity. Often the real power exists in what's left out. See Japanese aesthetics, Swedish interiors. Howlite's dreamy, slate cleaning energy helps you discern exactly what you don't need, so you can train your focus on exactly what you do. Who needs it? Overstimulated minimalists living in a maximalist world. So what was I saying about you clearing out the clutter and just like removing the fallen debris? Where to put it whenever you need some breathing room, and then when to use it when you need a break from the never-ending onslaught of DMs, meeting requests, and trending stories. Less is more, none is most. Howlite can help organize your headspace. So that's the first one. Love that. Because we were talking about you guys kind of rebooting and just cutting away, trimming the fat, so that makes a lot of sense. So the final card for my pal ones, it's almost like because that was from the norms, it's almost like the Fae are coming through to bring this next one. So let's see what the Fae to bring through. Such beautiful lilac energies. Crown chakra energies. We have Epidote. What it is, Epidote is prismatic earthy green aluminium silicate mineral. It's the get what you give stone, making good vibes even better. But be warned, if you bring Epidote into your world, be ready to bring it. If you're set on wallowing out, keep Epidote at a safe distance. Who needs it? Anyone putting in the work on themselves. Where to put it, stash away with your existential, to-do list. When to use it, when you're looking to kick a bad habit, a bad friend, or a bad mood. When you want to cast a spotlight on your weaknesses so you can work on them. And the message is upgrade your version of you, which is what you guys are going through, a bit of an upgrade. And I don't think it's a case of you're going through a spiritual upgrade. I feel like we've ticked that off the list. I don't think it's a case of it's time to rest and be ready. I think we've ticked that off the list. I don't think it's a case of we need to go back down and heal some things. No, we've ticked that off the list. It's a reboot that is more so to do with your everyday life and what you're choosing to be surrounded by, physically digesting, whether it's media, content, foods, things you're reading, things you don't need anymore. It's like we're clearing that out. We're cutting out things that we just genuinely don't need because we've learned the lesson, or we just have no need for it anymore. And I think that's the message. So I love how they both correlated. I think it's more of a reboot, but it's not an energetic reboot. You've done it. It's more so looking at your environment and kind of setting the pace for this next phase. I think that's the message. And the norms then come through to say intention is key. That was really beautiful. So pile number 1, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and thank you to the Fae and the Norms for coming through to bring these beautiful messages. If you enjoyed the reading, hit the thumbs up and comment down below. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what collectives are coming through with messages today. So what realms are going to be coming through for you guys and connected to your energies, and what guidance do they have for you? So let's get in. I want to say before I open up to, you know, the realms and the energies coming through, there was a song coming through, and it's a new song, and it's come up in my reading before, and it's the Lift Me Up song that Rihanna sings for the Black Panther movie, and it's a really, really beautiful song, and that kind of came through. And then as that came through, I almost felt like you guys collective almost came through like a baby, and then it was almost like I was holding a baby and singing that song. It was really interesting. It was almost like I was taken into the energy to like cradle. It was really, really interesting, and there's this strong urge to let you guys know that you're being held right now and nurtured, and that you are loved. There's like a strong message of that coming through. And there's another strong message to come through and say that your heart is so big and ferocious, but it's also so gentle. And there's a strong emphasis on that you work with the heart. And this came through in my reading the other day when I got told to say, you know your heart. Don't let anyone else tell you about your own heart. You may be from that pile, because I feel the urge to say it again. You know your heart. Don't let anyone tell you who you are. You know the intentions that you move with. A strong message to do with that. In the heart space. You guys may be feeling called to the color pink right now, or the color green. Specifically pink is coming through. It's probably why you chose the rose quartz. So let's get in. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2, tapping into the collective of my pile number 2s. What realms and collectives on earth are connected to my pile number 2s, and what message do they have today? Straight away being taken to the mermaid realm. I literally am like growing a tail. And I love when I go to these realms because I embody it. It's like I go on a journey. And I don't usually, when I'm doing these readings, go on a journey with bringing the messages through. It's more, I'm here with you and the information is just being spoke through me. But I found doing this reading today, I'm journeying with you guys. And it's almost like we're all collectively moving through the water together. It's really, really interesting. So pile number 2, please. What realms and what messages are connected to my pile number 2? I'm not going to use those because they just... You guys may be getting little aches and glitches in your body recently. It's because there's a purge that's been taking place, I'm being told. Energy's being shifted in your body. And I'm not talking about proper aches now, like illnesses. I'm just talking about little, you know, when you can feel a current of energy in your body and things like that. I'm talking about little things like that. Pile number 2. What realms are connected to my pile number 2s? We have temperance, balance and harmony. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. What guidance and messages? Yeah, the mermaids are coming through quite strong for you. 7 of feathers, preparation and resourcefulness, also known as the 7 of swords. One final card from this deck, please, spirit guides. What realms? Oh, We have the Three of Shells, playfulness and bliss, and we have these beautiful dolphins, look, coming through here. Knowing that this realm feels super connected to you, you guys may be very connected to the ocean, dolphins, starfish. You guys may be my water pile. Yeah, I feel like that's something that's coming through for you guys. The back of the deck, we literally have transformation. I love this card. Look at the energy coming off that. Transformation, transition, and liberation. Okay. Okay. I don't know, I just hear donut. I don't know if somebody's eating a donut. If you are, enjoy yourself. Just literally just hear donut, and I was being shown, you know, in The Simpsons, they're that pink donut. I don't know why. Okay. Pile number 2, please, for guides, messages. Yeah, the mermaids are coming through, and first of all, it's almost like, I literally feel like I'm journeying with you. I'm being taken to like a pool that's in the ocean, and then I'm being just immersed in water, and I'm just floating, and I don't want to speak, I don't want to talk, I don't want to take on anyone's energies. I just want this water to alchemize me. And I think that that's a strong message coming through from the mermaid, is for stillness right now, observance, observing your thoughts, and just, there's a flush going on, and it's a strong message coming through from, you guys are connected to the dolphins quite strong. Keep hearing dolphin, 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 dolphin. It's a strong message for you right now to be in stillness, especially with music that you're listening to. You may have found recently that you've been purging some deep things, so you may be listening to quite angry music, and that's fine, it was helping you release, but you're being called to listen to music that's a bit more melodic, less said. You know, like when you listen to Janae Aiko and she's singing bowls in her music, and everything's a lot more flowy and there's emotions coming through. You're being called to listen to music like that, you know, like when Activation Vibration, she releases like music, and it's you know, she used the sound bowls and the drum pans and things like that, and it's really, really beautiful, and you could feel the beautiful energy there. There's something about music for you that's really healing, and you're being called to listen to that and just allow these feelings to come through. And there's just so much reference right here being taken to the Temperance card, of stillness, of cleansing your energy right now, of just breathing. I'm also being told breath work for you guys is something that you're being called to work on, because it's like still in the mind is a strong message right now. They really want you to still the mind, breathe, take your time. It's just such a strong message coming through from them. Why do we have the Seven of Feathers with the Three of Shells? Why do we have... Okay, so you've been clearing out recently deeper emotions that had you feeling powerless. It's like anger, frustration. Why would you treat me like that? Anytime where you felt your words were stolen from you, anytime that you felt like you had to step out of your power for somebody else, anytime you felt like someone was just taken from you, and I feel like people have really taken advantage of your kindness in your time, you've been dealing with the grief of that, the anger of that, the frustration, and you may be still dealing with it right now, and there's anger, there's upset, there's grief. Why would you do this? There's questions. I'm hearing that Camila Cabello song, I Have Questions Haunting Me. I think it's called I Have Questions, and she sings, I have questions haunting me. Number 1, tell me who you think you are. You have some nerve trying to tear my faith apart, or something like that. And I think you've been dealing with them, not just from something that's happened recently. I think this has been embedded for a while, and now it's almost like I'm sitting in this lake and I've reached the bottom of it, and around me is this grief or anger, frustration, or F you to that person, and it's coming out of me in this deep blue. It's swirling around me, and I'm shouting it out, and it's all coming out, and it's painful while I'm experiencing it, but then it's out of me, and I'm sitting still at the bottom, and it's like the blue now, this deep blue, which is all that pain and frustration. It's still not out of my energy field yet, but I've cried it out. It's done with. I have no tears left to cry with it. And this spiral, this blue spiral, it's spiraling around me, and I'm observing that frustration, that anger. And now that I'm just sitting here with my own feelings and how I feel, I'm now able to see where, yes, I have been done wrong in certain situations, and I have been taken advantage of in these situations, and it's not very nice. And I think you're observing some of the darkest parts of human beings right now. It almost feels like that. Like, so you may be feeling right now like there is just darkness and that human beings are mean. And the fact that there's so many of you coming here with such a beautiful heart is a show that not all human beings are like that. But I understand why you may feel like that right now, and you may feel like you want to be on your own because you're dealing with where you have been hurt and people have hurt you. So this deep blue is going around, and as time goes on and I'm observing it, it's going up and it's going up and it's coming out of my energy field. And then what's happening is it's almost like I'm being shown the mermaids coming up like to the top above me, because I'm like looking at the top of the ocean. I can see the sun glaring at the top, but I'm not up there because I have to deal with this down here a second. All of a sudden, all these mermaids are collectively coming together and spinning around at the top, which is like my crown chakra, bringing white energy down all the way through, and it's hitting my crown chakra and it's going deep into my physical body. And what's happening there is a flush happening. So any little things left over, they're just being flushed out, flushed out, flushed out. But what's actually happening as well is I'm becoming aware that my own energy was never taken away from me, and my own energy is being brought back to me. And the more it's happening and the more this flush is happening, I'm becoming more stronger. I feel more of a strength within myself. I'm feeling more grounded. I'm understanding now. There is an awareness. I am now able to forgive. I am now taking time for myself, and now I'm ready to open up again, because I've gone through all of these layers. And I think that's a process you've been on for some time. And there's just water, there's this flush coming through, and you're being called to observe. Any thoughts, feelings, angers, frustrations that are coming up right now, do not bury them back down. Don't grab one, observe it, and pull it back into your body. Allow them to filter around you. Observe these emotions, but know that they are emotions you have felt. They are experiences that have happened, but they don't reside within you. Let them pass. Because you are not, how to explain this? You are not these emotions. You are not this powerless person. You are not somebody that, certain people have projected onto. You are not these things. And they're being fleshed out. And there's a strong message from the mermaids coming through. They're being fleshed out. Let them flow. And cradle yourself right now. And that's why I felt like when I opened up to your energy, I was cradling you. Because you're going to be arriving at this point with the Three of Shells. That's how they were going around, the mermaids. They were going around in a spiral like that. But you were at the bottom. Sorry, guys, I just knocked the camera. You were at the bottom. And they were going around at the top and sending that energy down. Which is funny because you've got the blue and then the white in the middle. So it kind of represents that card in a way, which is quite beautiful. But yeah, I think that you guys, like, at heart and who you are and who you are coming back to and able to embody in a more beautiful way and really feel, and see this part of yourself. You're such a kind-natured person. You are such a loving person. But I think somewhere along the way you were taught that you had to be super, super nice to people constantly. And there's a difference between being kind and nice. And sometimes being nice all the time, it's not beneficial. We want to be kind, but sometimes we may be nice and bypass our own emotions to make somebody else feel better, whereas they could be taken from us sometimes. So we need to know when we have to put that foot down and, step in. And just because somebody might not like you for doing that, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. You know what I mean? For having your own opinion and thinking, I don't think I like you in the way you treat me and the way that you are, that doesn't make you a bad person. But I think maybe somewhere along the way you learned that. You bury these feelings down and they're being fleshed out. So all of this anger and this, I don't think I like you, it's coming out. And it's not because you're turning to this dark monster. It's not that at all. You're observing your own thoughts and they're coming out now. Because your own thoughts and feelings are valid and you're realizing that. And it's creating this transformation, transition and liberation. It's creating this beautiful transformation that's happening. Where you are standing in your own truth. And I think that's so beautiful. But you may be looking at certain people and feeling like, you took this from me, you took that from me. And you're being called to observe that. So let's pull some more cards. Pile number 2. What realms are connected to my pile number 2s and what messages? Paradox. I always say the healing journey in itself is a paradox, because we feel like we're not whole. We feel like we're powerless and we've had our power taken away from us, or we feel like we're unlovable. And we go through this journey to come back to our power and to feel lovable and see the love in ourselves and realize who we are. And then we purge and we go through these dark feelings of everything's a mess, I don't have the power in me, I feel weak, and you go through it. And then the minute you get out the other side, you actually realize, wait, I had the power in me all along. Wait, I was always really lovable. I always was that. I was waiting this whole time for someone to say that, or for it to be proven to me. But the only person that needed to prove that to me was me. But I didn't see it back then, but now I see it because I had to go on that journey. And I was trying to get my power back from all of these people. And I went on this journey to do that. But in actuality, now that I'm here, they never had my power to begin with. It was always within me. And it's this paradox because you're becoming something that you already were all along. And I get that a lot with love readings where people will say, you know, I'm not ready for love. And there's this feeling sometimes with love readings like, I'm not lovable, I'm not ready yet. And it's not necessarily some people aren't ready for love in the sense that they're not worthy of it. It's they don't see that they're ready for it yet because they still have things that they're alchemizing. It's not that they're going to be rewarded with love when they get to the end of it. They just decide at the end of that healing, I'm ready for love, and I don't really, you know, I'm not emotionally unavailable before, and I'm not looking for someone to complete me because I am me, and now I'm actually ready for it. And it's not someone handing it. We just come to that realization, and I think that's why the paradoxes come through, because there's going to be a moment, and it's like, oh wow, I get it. Like there's a click coming in, like I get it. Oh my god, I get it. I was, you know, I was searching for that power, but it was in myself, and it was trying to get out. And it was like my shadow and my inner child trying to bring that out. And those feelings, they weren't coming through to punish me. They were feelings that I had to feel in order for me to honor them and stand in them to really become who I, you know, truly am. And now I feel whole, and now I'm ready and open again. And I think that's the kind of journey that, you know, you guys are on right now. And there's a message of that coming through, that even when you're at the bottom of the sea, you're worthy. You're full of love. You have the beautiful heart. You are enough. And even when, before you even went to the bottom of the sea, you were enough. You have a beautiful heart. You have beautiful gifts. You are a powerhouse. And even floating up to the top, every single part of that journey, you always were that. And that's a strong message, because you may be feeling right now like, I don't feel good for anybody right now, and that's not true. You always were, and you always have been. And it's not a case of you've been on this journey to prove it to anyone, to finally be deserving or something. It's never been that. You always were. You're learning that you were. You're showing yourself that you were. No one's handing anything to you. You decide that. And that's the journey. The person that brought you through this journey, it wasn't anybody else. It was you. You got yourself through all of this. You're the reason that you choose to have good intentions. You're the reason that you choose to heal. You did it. No one else made you do it. You did it because you have a beautiful heart. You have a strong heart. And you're worthy of everything just in this moment, you being you. And that's the paradox of it. You know what I mean? But the only person that needs to realize that and see that is you. And that's the journey you're on. And that was a message that came through. In the back of the deck, we literally have death. So there's such, with the death card being the back of the deck here in transformation, I think it's safe to say that you guys are really, you know, doing some purging. And whenever I see that, I always go, oh, that's so beautiful. But I know when you are in it and you are feeling those emotions, it doesn't feel like that. But to look at it, then when you look back at it, I'm like, God, that's beautiful, you know? And that's how that's how I look at it when I look back at those times where I was in the pits of despair. I'm like, that was beautiful. But I know if I would have heard while in those pits of despair myself going, that's beautiful, I would have been like, okay, you need to leave. I can't believe you just said that. I'm in pain. You know what I mean? So I understand that. And that's the paradox of it too. That we can look at it in hindsight, see what was going on and go, whoa, that was growth. That was beautiful. But at the time you don't see it because it doesn't feel that way. And I think this is more of a reassurance from the mermaids that the work you're doing, oh goodness. And we have the mermaid card that flipped as I said that. The work you're doing, it's again, the message is beautiful. We have divine sensuality, making love, erotica. You're starting to as well see your heart. I think that your heart, again, like I said, is your powerhouse. But I don't think you've ever seen the power that your heart holds. And I think you're coming into a time where you're starting to see that and going, wow, you know, wow. And really seeing yourself and loving yourself for the person you are. You're starting to see that. If you're not seeing it yet, you will be. Because that's the journey you've been on, to really see yourself. You may be on the journey of becoming an empowered empath, you know. It does feel that way. The back of the deck, we have Carl's wisdom, colony, delicacy, fragility, works that are created over great periods of time. This has been a journey. This has been a journey that you've been on. I'm hearing Warrior by Chloe and Harley. And she sings, I think it's Chloe that sings, I know it hasn't been so easy fighting for my life. And Harley's like, I can be a warrior. Yes, I am a warrior. There's no need to worry, love. Look around, it's glorious. You know where to find me. I don't know, it's a really beautiful song. It's called Warrior. Chloe and Harley, Warrior. Yeah, you've been on this love journey of truly seeing yourself and not needing anyone to fill up your own cup, you know. We have surrender. I think you guys are light workers. We have the surrender card here. And the reason I feel you're light workers, not only do we have these lights in the background, I love how the ocean's coming through a lot for you guys. Because these aren't ocean cards, but yet the seahorses come through for the mermaids. And then, you know, obviously this is going to be a mermaid card because it's the ocean, but we have the dolphins here too, which is really beautiful. And another reason I feel like you're a light worker is we have the universal love, which means that in my opinion, I feel like a lot of light workers, they come down with maybe broken hearts, or they have their heart broken quite early on because they learn to love through the language of the universe, which is not lust and conditional, it's this depth. And yes, we have to learn to balance that in a realm like, you know, the earth, where there's a lot that goes on, but it's to withhold a certain frequency of love and be an example of it. And I think that you guys are an example of that, to have that come through as universal love. I think that you guys definitely are light workers, and you are here to just love. I think that's your mission, to love and to hold that frequency and to be that. But you have to see it in yourself in order to do it, to really benefit from it yourself, because you're here to learn too. And I think that's what you've been gearing up on, and I feel like you are the type to then teach other people how to do that and see that within themselves too. I think that you're quite a leader, but you're a leader of the heart. And I know you may feel a little bit lonely right now, but you're really not. I say that as it's 22 when I look at the timing on here, and then we have the 22 card, and then my clock says 1:33. So there's a lot of angel numbers coming through. So spirits are around you. You have an army of spirit around you, but not only that, there isn't just one of you watching this pile. There's a lot of you watching this pile. So think of how many people are watching this pile and how many people are coming through with that beautiful heart. There are people out there that have that light like yours, and I know right now you may not see it, but it's there, and it's all of you are tuning in right now collectively to feel that, and I can feel it, and you're all here with each other. You know, it's beautiful and it's grand, and you hold that frequency, and it's just really beautiful to feel. I hope you all can feel that within each other and feel that universal energy, but also feel that within yourself and have that returned back, you know, because it's such a beautiful frequency. And that's a strong message from the mermaids too. It's this healing frequency you bring. You know, you really are a diamond in that way. I think that you kind of you're very connected to the mermaids in the sense that you've probably had incarnations in those realms, or you visit those realms frequently. It's really beautiful. So what I'm doing now is whenever I travel to the different realms, they usually will give me a bit of healing. However, because this is a collective reading and it's a pick a card, I can't bring that bit of healing from the mermaids here. So what I've done is I've got my crystal cards, and they are going to pass on to cards that are also like a bit of guidance, healing and messages for you guys through the cards. So that's what's coming through here. So Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. What gift, what message, what bit of guidance do we have here? I'm just going to say from the mermaids, because it is the mermaids coming through. What bit of guidance, what gift? Oh, that was too many cards. Hang on. I just keep hearing stillness, stillness, stillness. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Okay, so we have jet. What it is, earthy and grounding, this true black mineraloid variety of coal is an ancient fossilized driftwood. Who needs it? Empaths and witchy types. Where to put it? To clear a physical space or your body of uninvited vibes, swipe jet over the affected area and tell toxic energies, spirits and tensions to peace out. And then when to use it? When asking for guidance from elsewhere, think seance, guided meditation, hardcore tarot session. Jet can take the edge off of high vibe stones like moldavite, serpentine, and is a wise old friend to bring as your +1 wherever your triggers are sure to be on the guest list. And the bottom message is claim your space. And I think that's really interesting, because I think what you're doing right now is reclaiming your own energy. Taking other people's perceptions and words and hurts out of your own energy and standing in your own truth and not letting them dictate, you know what I mean, how you manifest and how you walk forward. I think you're reclaiming how you feel about yourself, who you are, all of that. So I think that's quite interesting that that card came up. Let me just pull one more. Pile number 2, what guidance, healing messages do my pile number 2s need to hear from the mermaids? What gift? And we have the final cards. Let me just pop these up there. We have blue calcite. What it is, dreamy, calming blue calcite is the fresh from the meditation retreat, vision board making hippie of the calcite family. Who needs it? People who stare up at the ceiling worrying about the future at 3 a.m. Where to put it? On your bedside table. And when to use it? When stress is the enemy, a prerequisite for accomplishment. Deadlines aren't death sentences. Stress will extinguish your creativity and crush your dreams if you let it. Call on the calm and focused energy of blue calcite to remind you to put stress in its place, far away from the joy of the process and the delight of dreaming big. And the message at the bottom is act on your dreams. And I think especially with that worrying, I feel like you guys are feeling some deep, deep, deep energies right now. And I think that you guys naturally operate at such a healing, peaceful frequency that to be in these energies right now and really sit in them, it feels uncomfortable. And there is then a worry of, am I going to stay stuck here? Is it always going to be like this? The answer is no. It's not going to always stay like that. That's why you're being flushed right now, and you're being asked to surrender and open up to that energy, and maybe connect to the mermaids, maybe listen to some ocean energies and just see what comes through, and maybe ask the mermaids to like visit you in dreams, or just call on them, because I feel like there's a flesh and a healing happening, but I understand why sometimes you might not be able to feel it right now, but they're calling you to remove that stress. I'm being told for you guys to literally get the blue calcite, you know, and hold that with you and keep that on you, because I feel like it can then be a reminder of the light, reminder of your heart, and I think that it'll help you remember that this is just a phase as it all falls away, and this is not the final destination, you know, and that's a strong message. And I keep, again, to end the reading, I'm hearing that Rihanna song Lift Me Up. It is a really beautiful song, but yeah, that's what I'm hearing from you, for you guys. So pile number 2, that is what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you to the mermaids for bringing through the messages and guidance for my pile number 2s and the healing. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if this resonated for you. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what collectives and realms on earth have guidance messages for you, and also what collectives and realms you guys are connected to the most. So let's get straight in. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. One thing I want to say is, as I'm opening up to your energies, your pile feels a lot different to pile 1 and 2, so it may take me a second to kind of tailor to the frequencies that are coming through. I do want to say the first bit, there's 2 things coming through in regards to realms. There's the stone people coming through, and then I'm also being shown dragons as well. I found with pile number 1 2 different collectives came through, and it's coming through here. I'm also being taken to sand, so I don't know if you work with sand, or you may have like sand around where you live. You may live by the beach. There's like a lot of that, and as we know, like sand comes from like stones kind of like rubbing against each other, so I think that's where like the stone people are coming through, and I think that's maybe where you feel connected to the sand, and just like their ancestry on earth, I guess. And then it's also with the dragons, I just feel like it's more so coming from my heart space. I feel like there's a strong connection to the dragons there, which is really, really interesting as well, which we'll get into, because it could be that both bring messages through, or it could be that one's just more so protecting you and a part of you, whereas the others is a collective bringing through messages, because that's what happened for pile 1. So we'll just see, but it's the stone people that are coming through and the dragons for you guys. Let's keep going though. Pile number 3, what realms and collectives on earth are coming through for my pile number 3s, and what guidance? It's the stone people, and it's funny because they're coming through, you know, like when you think of Grandmother Willow and you think of like the tree people, and they'll have like a face like Grandmother Willow. It's almost like that, but stones, because everything on earth has a consciousness, you know, like Pocahontas sings, I know every rock, tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. And even rocks on earth, they have their own consciousness. Stones on earth have their own consciousness, they have their own vibration, and it's a much larger collective vibration, and it's coming through, and it's this big, beautiful, grand energy that's so gentle, and that's why it's taken me a minute, because naturally my frequency, just to explain, is more of an airy frequency. I tend to, what works at my pace is usually the Fae, because they come in with quite a fast frequency, whereas to maneuver that into the stone people, it's a lot slower and moves slower. It's interesting, and it's me tailoring my way in, so that's what's happening right now, just so you know why I'm, you know, taking my time getting into the vibration, because it's different for me. Pile number, oh goodness, pile number 3, pile number 3. Oh goodness, that's just gone completely underneath. That's just hidden for me. 2 seconds. I feel like you guys within your vessel and within your being have a lot of hidden, we have the 8 of Shells, quest and renewal. I think that you guys have a lot of hidden wisdom. You know, when we think of like what sort of practices and spiritual practices people from like ancient times used to practice, I feel like you guys have that kind of like hidden in your Akashic records, hidden in your own vessel and in your own conscious awareness. That's a really strong message that came through with your card running underneath, and I had to kind of retrieve it. Let me get the cards and I'll channel properly. Pile number 3, guidance messages for my pile number 3s. Oh, there you go. We have the Ace of Acorns, creative force and confidence. 2 of Feathers, decisions, direction. Okay, Ace of Acorns, which is the Ace of Wands. 2 of Feathers, which is decisions, directions. 2 of Swords, the back of the deck we have the Tower, release and revelation. Okay, 2 of Feathers. Okay. A strong message here is, I keep hearing imposter syndrome. And I'm really being called for you guys, pile number 3, to mention everything that you're seeking is already seeking you, and everything that you need to embark on any journey is already within you. I feel like you guys move with your intuition more than you know, but I think that sometimes you guys need a little bit of clarity in regards to things your intuition is bringing through. It's almost like you, like for example, even like watching a video like this, which I'm completely aware I can seem a bit out there when I'm talking about stone people and things like that. It's almost like messages coming through and it's like I'm feeling them and I'm taking them in and I'm understanding, but then my ego is like, I don't know if that's, you know, I don't know if I really thought that, or I don't really know if that message came through from spirit, or I don't really know if I'm equipped enough to really take on this job or really go down this pathway or go after what I want. There's like an ego energy that comes through, and the message from, it's the storm people coming through. They're coming through to reference that it's not that your ego or that side of you or that logical side is something to throw away and something that should be fought off. It's actually something that you can learn to balance and work with, because you guys have quite a strong ego and you have a very beautiful logical mind, but paired with that you have beautiful spiritual insight and depth, and what you're learning to do is really balance these energies out, because this logic and this beautiful mind that you have, it actually helps you ground into this physical world that we're in, so that you can walk the two worlds. You can have your foot in one physical realm and move how human beings do and work with that ego in a certain way and play to those strengths, and it gives you that strength. Then you may have a lot of earthy energy in your chart, like Capricorn, Taurus and Virgo. You're able then to play to those strengths and kind of filter in messages and root them in, but also you have one foot in the other realm, and it's like you guys are able to connect to such depth, and you guys have such a deep intuition, where you're able to bring through messages almost in the sense of like downloads, you know, like how I'll speak and the messages just flow through. You guys have that, and I feel like it's coming from your heart, but it's different than Pal 2. Pal 2 had a strong heart, but it was in a very peaceful way, and I'm not saying your heart isn't peaceful, but there's a fire in you, a really strong passion within you. We have creative force and confidence. You guys have a lot of passion and a lot of strength, and what you're learning to do, and the message from the storm people, is to balance the ego and balance your logical mind with this beautiful intuition and connection to spirit that you have, so that they can work in unison instead of maybe fighting each other off. Because there's almost this feeling like you may travel to a certain realm or connect with spirit or have this great idea to like have this particular career, and then all of a sudden your logical mind will take over and go, we can't do that, or that isn't real. But then you may you know, be bringing something in the physical world logically, and then it's like that side of you, the spiritual side of you, may be like, oh, we're getting too caught up in the physical, let's go this way. And you're being called from the storm people to balance that energy, because you have such a power that you have already in other lifetimes mastered this physical realm through a dedication to a lot of incarnations that you've had. You feel like this pilot came through in my past life reading I did a couple weeks ago, where they felt almost like a samurai, and they were able to move their body in certain ways, and I was really taken to Asia. When I was with that pile, not a specific place in Asia, just Asia. And I feel like you've had a lot of lifetimes where you've understood the physical, you brought in strong material wealth. I feel like you've had lifetimes where you would have been rich. You've done that, and you've understand the human concept, but you've also had a lot of lifetimes where you've connected to spirit, you've brought in messages, you've been a seer, you've been a witch, you've been all of that. And because you've had so much of it, they're both there for the taking, for you guys to bring in the wisdom from the higher realm, plant it, but then also use the wisdom of the physical world that you've already gained to bring something to fruition. And the only thing you're being asked to do by the storm people is to balance that out. Because right now I almost feel like your logical mind and your psychic mind, let's say, are almost in battle, and you're asking them both to hold hands and level themselves out. Because your logical mind has points, and so does your spiritual mind, and also this and that are true. So you're being called to really balance them both out. Like, understand when there's a time and a place for the ego to step in, and understand that there's a time and a place for the higher self to step in, and vice versa. That's a strong message coming through, because there's a lot of, you feel like a seeder. You're here to seed information. You're here to bring wealth. I mean, we literally have the goat here, which is that energy of Capricorn. You're here to bring physical manifestation and really build. But you also have that connection to spirit to bring it through. So you have the creation to create the blueprint, but you also have the drive to physically do it. And you're being called to balance these energies right now. And the way you do that is you just listen to them. You listen to your ego. You listen to what it has to say. You listen to your higher self. And instead of taking on what the ego says and taking on, you know, the other side, it's like you just observe both. You observe both ends, and you know there's a time and a place to flow into one side of you and flow into the other side of you. Because right now I feel like there's something you're wanting to do, or it could be like a spiritual gift that's coming through, and there feels like there's friction. The reason that there's friction is because it's like we're battling of what is right, and I feel like you're not understanding, is this true or is that true? And the stone people are coming through like both. You know, because the logic mind is looking from the east and the higher self's looking from the west. Both are true. You are a soul that is incarnated in the physical body, but also while you're here, you're a human being. You know what I mean? With a human brain, living a human life. Both are true. They both can coexist, but you need to know when to use certain energies and balance them out. And the way you'll do that is sitting in contemplation and observing your own thoughts. And that's something you've actually practiced a lot in other lifetimes, observing what comes through, observing people's moves, observing how other people move. And I think maybe a task you're having in this lifetime is observing your own thoughts, your own mind, you know, instead of observing everybody else around you. It's really interesting. I think this may be one of the first couple of incarnations you've had where you've had to balance both. You've either been one way or the other, and that's why they're both fighting, you know, in your mind, to be like, okay, well, we're going to do it the logical way this time. And you're remembering when you moved the logical way and the mental way in other lifetimes, so you're like taking charge with it. But then you then remember when you were just connecting with spirit, and you might not have needed your ego at certain points in certain incarnations. So it's like, I remember when I was fully this way, and then it's, well, what's wrong? Was I doing wrong then? And the answer is no. But you just need to bring that balance in. It's really interesting. Yeah, I feel like it's the stone people bringing the message, and then around you as a collective, there's dragons just literally flying about. Around the ground, it's almost like a force field of protection coming through, and it's a bright red energy, which is an earthy energy. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. But I'm being told you're building something right now, or you're working towards something right now where you need both your ego and your higher self, both of them to like coexist. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, it's really interesting. Really interesting. Let's pull some more cards then. Let me just itch my eye. I don't know why I told you let me just itch my eye. I normally just do it, but this is the thing. When I'm connecting to an energy that I'm not used to, I'm more aware of my physical body. So because my throat's super open, I'll just say things, because it's like I'm more aware of the physical things that I'm doing. Like, oh, I'm cold. You know what I mean? Like when I opened up to your energy, I was like, I feel cold. Whereas normally when I'm channeling, I don't realize certain things in my physical body. So for your reading, I was like, let me just put my dressing gown on. Like, I'm cold. So it's like I'm observing things that I wouldn't usually. And I think that's something your mind naturally does. I think I need to learn a thing or two from you guys' pile. Let's keep going. Pile number 3. Pile number 3. I think that you guys work well with anything that comes from the earth as well. Stones, rocks, crystals, shells, anything that literally comes from the earth. Sand again is coming through. I see somebody in sand and drawing symbols in the sand, like drawing geometric shapes, element symbols, anything that you're almost seeing in your mind's eye, drawing it in the sand, which may have been something you used to do in the past, in a past life, or maybe you do it now. Maybe you do it now and you're like, why am I doing this? You did it in a past life. I see somebody meditating in a circle, and whether they've created a grid around them of crystals, grid around them of sand, grid around them with stones. I see you sitting in the middle, kind of like a medicine wheel, and doing, you know, it's really interesting. It's like you can feel the energy of the earth coming through then. It's like, yes, these energies are all around me, but I like to see them in the physical too. That's you bringing those vibrations and energies into a physical footprint. It's really interesting. Oh, goodness. So that card just decided to come out. And we have the Outlaw, which I literally just said creating a physical footprint. And this card was the one that popped out when we have a boot, which is a literal footprint. Isn't that so interesting how that popped out as I said that? The Outlaw. Yeah, I feel like you're here to bring messages from a higher awareness and root them into the physical, or designs, or movies, or stories, or books, or art, or ways of working. It doesn't always have to be necessarily a creation of something that people can enjoy or take from. It could be you blazing paths and creating new work environments for people that would tailor to people's energies better in this new frequency on earth, or designing new homes. And that, I feel like your brain's very like that, and it's coming from a higher awareness. It's really, really interesting. That's why you need both energies to work together, so they can kind of help in hand instead of fight against each other. It's really interesting that it's like the elements immersing together to work with each other instead of kind of like cancelling each other out, you know. That's how it's kind of coming through. The back of the deck we have surrender. So some of you guys may have been struggling as well to like balance their messages from spirit, because your logical mind may have been coming in to stop the surrender of messages coming through. And because I feel like you guys are strong channelers, you may have been overwriting your own messages being downloaded as just thoughts, or that was just my mind, whereas the actual like claircognizance coming through bringing in messages. And that's where you're being called to surrender. And if you do have trouble bringing in those messages, I'm being called for you guys to get you know, like Tyler Henry has the pen and paper and he just draws squiggles. I'm being called for you guys to do that, because I think that's how you bring messages through, by relaxing your body, even getting like a fidget spinner or playing with some slime, you know, anything that really relaxes your body and soothes you. I think that's when you'll find more messages will come through. And I think that you get strong downloads and very good creative outbursts at night, and that's because you're more relaxed and spirit's just having these downloads come through. It's quite interesting. It's like your Akashic records are opening at night and these messages are just coming through, and then in the morning you're like, okay, physically let's get to work. And I see you guys kind of doing that, and maybe having a time and a place where it's like at night time I create and bring the messages through, and then in the morning I'm physically getting to it and mentally applying myself. It's learning to balance, even, you know, with the energies and the cycles of the day and night. And the sun and moon don't fight each other today. They just allow the cycles to kind of come through. And that's where you're being called to allow them to flow in, and not fight either or off. Pile number... we have Atlantis. Rapid development, excellence, and success. Some of you guys may have had a lot of incarnations on Atlantis. That's definitely a message that I'm getting. I feel like, again, there's... yeah, it's like I'm being taken to time periods in Atlantis, and I'm with the lighter energy coming down. It's like I'm bringing messages through. So I feel like maybe at the time of Atlantis you would have been a bit of a seer, a seeker, someone that brought messages through. Whereas a lot of the times of, I guess, the times we know now and that are recorded in history, you may have been more physical and mentally connected, you know. We have the unseen. Too much is hidden from you. And what was I saying about things being hidden from you? And the card went under there, and you guys are like having new things coming through, and we have that. Too much is hidden from you. You have wisdom within you. And I think sometimes you don't realize that, and it's all within you. It's all within. Don't doubt these messages that come through. I love that that came through as the unseen. Too much is hidden, and your card went straight underneath. I had to retrieve it. That's super interesting. Yeah, I think there's something you're not seeing that's going to be like revealed to you. And it's to do with your psychic gift. I think a psychic gift's going to break, or you're going to have a strong past life dream or literal vision where something's going to make sense to you. And that's all they're letting me know in regards to that. We have I was saying you guys are channeling. There's a lot of synchronicities in this reading. I think sometimes you might need a little bit of physical proof in the physical in regards to like spiritual messages that come through, because the way spirit's like, okay, well, let's have the card go into that, you retrieve it, and then we'll bring the unseen card out, and let's talk about you having a footprint, and then the card with the boot comes out as a footprint, and then let's talk about channeling and have the card tell you about channeling. Like, there's a lot of that, because I feel like spirit will give you messages but then also show up in the physical to give you literal breadcrumbs in your hand sometimes, just to let you know, like, yes, you are a channeler. You do connect to spirit. That is a part of you. You're just learning to balance it out. Take your time is a message. We have the Lakota tribe at the back of the deck, and I love the beautiful yellow, orange and reds here, because I think that you guys are so connected to your physical body, and it's very rare sometimes when you see people come through spiritually to be connected to their physical body, because a lot of the times people will, you know, be quite disconnected to the physical world and just drift. I did for a lot of my life. I still to this day have to work on my 3 lower chakras continuously and work on grounding myself, because if I wasn't doing that, I would naturally just float about and just not be here. And the fact that you've already mastered that shows how many lives you had on earth, that you're able to bring the messages but also physically be here. It's really interesting. You are the definition of an old soul, I feel. Really beautiful. Now, what I was doing was, whenever I travel the realms like this and I bring messages through from the realms, I will usually get a bit of guidance and healing from, you know, wherever I head to. And because obviously I'm not doing a literal journey like that, in the sense that I can't give you all physical gifts and have the stone people bring through those gifts, I've got these cards, which are crystal cards, which are going to have messages on them, and that's going to be the gift from the stone people today. And we may find that the dragons want to give a gift there as well. So messages from pile number 3s, the realms that are connected to my pile number 3s, the gifts that they have to end the reading out. What messages? I think you guys would learn a lot if learn a lot about yourself connecting to the stone people, if you want to look into that, because I feel like it might awaken something. We have Jasper. What it is, Jasper describes a huge variety of opaque quartz stones, from Picasso jasper to Mukite jasper to red jasper. These earthy babies help align us to our core powers. Who needs it? Air signs and city folk. Where to put it? Wherever you are, when you'd rather be barefoot, pulling vibes from the earth below. Think white sand. What was I saying about sand? White sand, green grass, yoga mat. When to use? When you want to get back into your body after a stressful work week, a long flight, or a lit meditation session. Strengthen your foundation. So there's something you're really being called to root and ground into the physical, but to do that you're bringing it from another realm, and you're being called to go into meditation to bring that through. It could just be a way of working, it could be bringing in a manifestation in, but I'm being told that you hold the key, but half of the key is your soul and your higher self, the other half is the logic mind, and while they're in battle you're not going to be able to piece the key together. There's an answer you might be looking for, or something's coming together to bring clarity, but you're balancing out both sides of you to bring it in. I don't know if you've been wanting to manifest something in, or wondering where to head next, or wondering how you could bring in both sides of it. There's something that it's almost like you've asked for something, and this is the message coming back. The next card you have is, oh god, hang on, let me just pop these down. The next card you have is Chrysoprase. What is it? Hypnotic green chrysoprase is a rare stone with a heavy helping of nickel, hence its mesmerizing verdant hue. Who needs it? Explorers searching for the foundation of youth. Where to put it? Squeeze chrysoprase, I hope I'm saying it correctly by the way, squeeze chrysoprase against your heart and tell your inner child how much you love them, then cry forever. When to use it? When it's time to forgive that person who hurt you most, your parents, and most of all yourself. You are not a doormat, you are an evolved being. When you feel like giving up on love, chrysoprase gives you the green light to keep going. Grow from your heart out. See, I feel like, especially when we connect to realms like this and we connect to spirit, a lot of the times what helps us open up to these realms is the inner child. And maybe you've had time periods in your life where people have told you to maybe shun that side of yourself. Maybe that's the inner voice telling you, oh no, we're not meant to be doing this, we're meant to be doing the hard work, sort of thing. And both are true. We're meant to be connected to our inner child, but we are also meant to be connected to who we are in this moment and be focusing on this moment. They both can be true, and that's why you're being called to bring from your heart this energy from your heart, this healing from your heart, and bring it into the physical, because both are true. And that's how you're going to balance out these energies and bring something into fruition or get an answer to something. You're a bit of a seeker, so it's almost like they're just dropping breadcrumbs, but that's a message coming through. And once again, it's the stone people and the dragons coming through for you guys. The stone people were the ones that brought the message through. It's the dragons that more so are protecting your energy, and you're super connected to the dragon realm and that fire, that exploration. You may have a lot of earth and fire in your chart. Definitely. So pile number 3, that is what I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. Thank you to the stone people and the dragons for bringing the messages through. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you enjoyed. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Palfo, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what collectives and realms you guys are connected to right now and what guidance messages they have for you. So you guys chose the shell. As I collect with you guys, pile number 4, I'm really being taken to the third eye. I don't know whether you guys are having spiritual upgrades in regards to your third eye. I don't know if you've been working on it and it's been opening, but there's just like a lot of, I'm looking around and I see deep. There's auras everywhere. I'm having visions. It's like, it's vibrant in my third eye, which makes me feel like the reason it might be a little bit hyperactive is because there's either gifts breaking in that area, you've done a clear out or had some energy work done there, or it's just starting to break and open up to you guys and there's upgrades happening there. But whatever reason, there's a bit of an expansion there. I almost feel at nighttime things might be getting a little bit colourful for you, like you might just be getting rapid visions coming through. It's quite interesting, to be honest, but that's what's been coming through for you guys. So let's see what realms are connected to you guys. So pile number 4, what realms and collectives on earth are connected to my pile number 4s, and what messages do they have? Tap me into the collective of my pile number 4s. What realms on earth on earth? I'm being taken to the unicorns, and it's funny because then my third eye just turns into the horn, like energetically, like my whole third eye is just becoming this horn. It's quite interesting that they've come through. Pile number 4, I'm trying to see if there's anything else, but I do just feel like it's the unicorns, and they feel very grand, very strong, like I have a message. That's how it's coming through. Headstrong and beautiful and warm and just majestic, it feels. Pile number 4, it almost feels like an elder, you know what I mean, like an elder, like kind of like a grandmother-in-law type of energy. That's how it feels. And I love how they've come through, instead of just like unicorns coming through, it's like it's come through as like one big large collective unicorn to like bring the messages through, which is quite interesting. Pile number 4, what message does my pile number 4s need to hear? You know what's really interesting? I'm sitting here and it's like unicorns, and then it's like very similar to 3 and 1, where it was like you have energies that feel like gatekeepers, and then you have people bringing the messages through. So as I tap into your energy, it's unicorns, massive, then white cloak goes around your collective energy, and then it's just like from the earth, these tree beings just come through, and it's like we have a message. So it's almost like, again, similar to pile 3 and 1, because they had, you know, energies come through to protect. It's like the unicorns are almost coming through as like a protection of your energy, and then the trees then are bringing the messages through. The tree people are coming through to bring the messages. It's really interesting. So I'll see if both want to bring a message, or if it's just the tree people and unicorns are just observing, but they feel very headstrong, protective. I don't know if you work with them anyway, but that's what's coming through. So we have the world, fulfillment and celebration. Pile number 4. Oh. We have the moon, imagination and perception. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Pile number 4. Oh, we have love, choice and trust. Love that. I love how you have 3 major arcanas that have come through for you guys. That's really, really beautiful. I feel like you I feel like you dwindle in the realms a lot, to be honest with you. I feel like you've been in contact with many different energies and beings and frequencies. We have the 5 of feathers at the back of the deck, strategy and resilience, which is the 5 of swords. Okay, pile number 4. What messages oh my god, I can't speak. It's like I can't bring my words out of my mouth. Which is what I was gonna say. While I tap into these frequencies and energies, give me a second to get used to it, because I always find, especially if I'm channeling from these realms, it takes me a minute to tailor to the frequency. It happened just now with pile number 3. They had the stone people come through, and while I was tailoring to their energy, my body just kept grounding, and it was just really, it just took me a second. It's happening here with my mouth. Like, I'm finding it hard to bring my words out, and it's quite interesting. Pile 4. What messages from the realms do my pile number 4s need to hear? I think that you guys, you almost feel like you're coming through to be super connected to Earth's ancestry. And not just the ancestry in the sense of like humans on Earth, but just like the different realms on Earth. Like the first days on Earth, in the sense of just the elements coming through. I feel like you're super connected to Mother Gaia in the sense that you feel super a part of her. And I think that's why the tree people are coming through, because it's almost like when we think of trees and we think of their wisdom and their knowledge and how much energy they have within them and how long they've been here. And then when we connect to the tree people, they're even more ancient than that. You know what I mean? Like, they've really been in Earth's realms for a really long time, and there's this feeling of you guys having that same wisdom and realm and connection to those realms within yourself that's coming through. And I think that's why these 3 major arcana cards came through, because I think that the message more so here is the message of they want to speak, not in the sense of I'm bringing you guidance for right now. It's more so I want to let them know how poignant their connection to the earth is, and how meaningful this incarnation is, and how when they have these connections to animals and connections to human beings and connection to the earth, there's a reason that my pile number 4s have this super strong connection. They recognize that they're a part of this earth, and there's a gratitude that runs deep because they see. And it's reminding me of the song by Leona Lewis, I See You, which was from Avatar, and she sings I see me through your eyes. And when we think of that movie and Avatar, the people in Avatar, they have such a strong connection to the earth. They have such a strong connection to Ewa, and which is basically their Gaia, you know what I mean? They have a connection to her, and they understand that earth itself, you know what I mean? We're all parts of that. So it's like earth is our ancestor, and they keep wanting to like reference that to you, and how sacred these memories that you have are, because I feel like you've had a lot of incarnations in tribes. You've had a lot of incarnations where you've traveled the realms and seen, the mermaid realm and the fae and the fae. You've seen that. You've seen the depths of just animals on earth and people on earth, and it's like you can, the other type of person to just like go into a forest and you can see the karma and the ancient footsteps that have walked, and the wisdom that everything holds. It's like you speak the language of earth. It's really, really interesting how that comes through, and you bring that healing not just like from beyond the earth and from spirit, but you have tailored it to fit the earth, and you kind of bring that through, and you almost feel like one of Earth's keepers. And I say that with a warmth that makes me feel full. It's like you feel like a keeper of the earth in a way. You may be very connected to what you eat. You may be very, you know, connected to the environment. You may also be very connected to the norm realm, because they are always very conscious about the Gaia as well, and that's really coming through. And I know the world has so many meanings, but I think this is more so coming through of just like earth is a part of you, and they're bringing that message through, and to tap into that wisdom. And they're asking you to, when you go out into the forest, or when you go out into nature and you're with these elements, speak to it and feel that consciousness, because I feel like it's going to be easier for you to tap into, because you've done it so many times. And I think that as time goes on, you may even feel sometimes like, I don't feel at home on earth, when in actuality I feel like you've had so many incarnations on earth. You feel such a strong connection to Gaia that it's not that you don't feel at home on earth. You actually love earth so much. It's just the vibration and frequency right now, because you're looking at people that have forgotten their connection to earth. And I know that could feel really lonely, but I'm being told that to tap back into that, you have to hold that frequency and be that example for people. And that's a strong message coming through, because the fact that we have the love card here as well, and we have these two beautiful wolves here, it's like you see yourself through other people. You have such a respect and love for people, that you're not the type of person to just, like, if you're having a bad day, be mean to people and put people down. And when people do that, you just don't understand it. It's like, we're all brothers and sisters, why are you doing this? And I feel like it upsets you sometimes when you see, you know, if you don't feel it too strong, maybe it's your higher self. There's this upset when you see, like, the world just being destroyed for, like, oils and things like that. It's like, why are we doing this? There's such a strong connection to the environment. It's like, no, like, I want to preserve it. And there's this feeling of you being almost like a watcher of earth, or like a keeper of it. Makes me feel like a keeper of earth, but you've just chosen to incarnate, and you keep choosing to incarnate, because it's like, not on my watch, you know, when people are like disrespecting the earth and you're coming down. And I think you're super aware, or you're starting to wake up to the awareness of the beauty that is the earth and the different realms on earth. You could have even for a while thought, I want to escape where I'm at and maybe tap into realms beyond earth and where my roots come from, and looking up at the stars. Whereas I feel like you've done a lot of that, and I think you're learning the beauty and the realm and the multidimensionalness of everything that we see physically. I think that you guys are learning that, and I think that's a strong message from the tree people. That's something that's been awoken within you, and has been for some time. So I want to pull some more cards, because I feel like they just give me the literal examples here, to bring that message through from these cards, instead of really taking me on the deep journey of all the meanings of the cards. It's like, it's also simple, but it's also deep, you know what I mean? And it's like, you're a part of earth. You're being called to embrace nature into your everyday environment. I feel like that would really balance you, specifically having the 4 elements in your room, maybe connecting to the 4 directions in your room too. I think that would really help you guys as well. And I just think eating from the earth and being aware of how certain herbs and foods can help you, that's another strong message that maybe you may even be called to work through in this lifetime, whether it's just implementing it into your daily routine, or actually going into herbology and, you know, going into all of that. I see you guys really studying that and finding an interest in that, if not now, later down the line. Because sometimes we can be told something and it's like, I don't know yet, and then like a year or 2 later you just have this huge transformation, and it's like that becomes your whole thing. And you're like, wait, what? Like, I used to my psychic, because yeah, psychics have psychics, she always used to say to me, I pick up such strong France energy from you. And I was like, I don't know where you're getting that from, but I'm gonna take it in, because it obviously means something, but I haven't got this French connection. I don't know what you're on about. And then as I was she was talking to me about dance as well, and I was like, I don't really care too much about dancing and stuff. And then after going through like a lot of my shadow work, I just had such a strong pull to France, and like early France. And then I was with the dance, and I was really being taken to ballet, and I just had this surge, and I was just watching like 100 videos like that. So I don't know if this is something you're already aware of, but it's going to awaken down the line. But there's something like that coming through. There's like an initiation into Mother Gaia's like belly that happens, it feels. I feel like there's a message that Gaia may be calling you. When you're ready, you'll just pick up the call if you haven't already. But I think that you're one with the earth. Some of you guys as well, you may be like in the hustle and bustle of life and then feeling very ungrounded, and you might have even asked, okay, well, why do I feel this way? I hate being on earth. But it's not earth, it's the way everything's made up on earth. But you can still live with that peace, and like we have your compassion, and build your own paradigm on earth. You don't have to go with the ways of the structures that have been created right now, because quite frankly they're not, you know, I'm being told they're not doing so well is the message. But also human beings are growing tired of dancing to the beat of a drum that isn't the drum of their own heart, you know. And you're being called to dance to the beat of the drum of your own heart. What's the song from Pocahontas? Just Around the River Bend. That's what I'm hearing. Just Around the River Bend. That song's coming through. We have destruction at the back of the deck as well. I feel like you guys are also supposed to live quite peaceful lives, because I feel like your true nature is quite at peace. Where there's a lot of love around you, a lot of animals around you. And sometimes I feel like some of you guys may be self-conscious, I'm being told of that. They're saying that you love to be around animals and you want animals around you, and you want that, but it's the frequency and the pure just like love and vibration and the connection to earth. That's why you connect with them, because you're connected to it as well. And you're not like wrong for wanting to be around animals or having that, or having such strong empathy and compassion for what's around you. Like there's a reason it's so open in this lifetime. It's because you've worked on it in other lifetimes, and it's a part of you, and it's why you chose to come here. I think for them to say that you're like a keeper of the earth in that way, there's a connection here. It's like there's a responsibility, I feel. So that means that that's connected to your mission in some way, whether it's looking after animals, being there for other human beings, being there for nature, you know, whatever is the case, whatever you're called to, this deep compassion is a part of your soul mission, because it's a gift you have, and it's a beautiful gift. That is the message. More cards, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 4. What guidance? It's funny because you have such a compassion, and I think you're a mixture of like unicorn energy and the tree people, because with the tree people it's the connection to earth, that peacefulness, that love, but then you do have a headstrong energy to you as well, which is where that unicorn energy comes in. And there's a protection energy with the unicorn. It's coming through silent, but it's headstrong, and it's letting me know I'm here. So it's like a protection then, you know what I mean? And I think that's why I was so focused on the third eye, because I feel like you're learning to be able to understand people's motives and movements, so that you can carefully protect your own compassion and heart, so that it's not being used or projected onto as well. I think that's why you're having this intuitive awakening in your third eye, so that you can really see, because you're one of those people that will naturally see the light. I think that your intuition is helping you see the darkness in people, but not in the sense of, oh, everything's dark, in the sense of seeing other people's motives, because some people move in a way that you wouldn't even dream of moving in. And that's coming in then as your protection, you know. Pile number 4. Yeah, I feel like people are trying to shame you for your compassion and love for human beings, animals, nature, things that light your heart up, that connect you to your inner child, being still connected to your inner child, and things like that. I feel like people try to shame you out of it, and you're being told that's your power. We literally have homeland, arrival, a journey ends, establishment, building, settled, and we have 44, which is a building energy. You're here to hold that frequency and love on earth, and that togetherness on earth that human beings have completely forgotten about for the most part. You know, human beings have forgotten about a lot. We've forgotten about our own power. We've forgotten, you know, our own inner cycles. We've forgotten our connection to Mother Gaia and our oneness with each other, our oneness with people, our oneness with animals. It's like we see everything as separate. We've forgotten it. And you're here to hold that frequency of togetherness. We have transparency, honest, authentic, genuine, present. I think that you're a very true-natured human being. I think you are. That's how it's coming through. You feel very true. I'm hearing Loyal, Brave and True by Christina Aguilera. she sings, underneath my armor am I loyal, brave and true. And that's a song. I feel like a little bit of an earth warrior. Powerful. I think you have a strong connection to trees as well. It's funny because when the tree people come through, they're larger than our usual trees. Our trees to the tree people are like little thimbles. It's really interesting, which makes you think, because when you reach a higher frequency, things enlargen, and I feel like I don't know why I'm even being told to mention that to you as well. It's almost like I feel like you guys have a connection to the giant realm as well. Are you aware of their frequency and their energy? The reason I'm saying that is because it's almost like you remember a time on Earth, or you remember a frequency on Earth where everything was larger and bigger, and you still hold the vibration of that even though you're in the 3D. It's really interesting, and I say that as the universal love card comes through because I feel like your heart is very connected to spirit and the universe and that frequency. So it's like you're bringing in this large quantum of collective togetherness and wisdom into, again, the 3D where everything's smaller and everything looks separate, but it's not. It's really interesting. I'm having trouble putting that into words. But all I'm going to say is, like, the tree people are saying, like, small person, big heart. Small person, big energy. Small person, big soul. It's like you're bringing that grand energy through. And when I say small person, you could be really tall, but compared to when we tap into the giants and we tap into any of these other energies, we are tiny, honestly. So they're referencing that, like, you're bringing through such a grand wave of acceptance and togetherness and love just through your one physical 3D experience, and they're wanting you to remember that with every step that you take on Earth. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. You're here to seed a lot of love, I feel. You may have even been drawn to pile number 2. Oh wow, the back of the deck we have unity. I feel like you're here to bring people together. There was a song that Demi Lovato did with Jason Derulo, and it was called Together. And I can't remember much of it, but I know she sings, and we all sing this song together. And it was like a very like humanitarian type of song, and that's coming through for you guys. I just think you're here to remind people of the togetherness and that Gaia is our home. These animals and insects, they're our brothers and sisters. We're all a part of each other. We're not separate. And I think that you're here to lead as an example of that as we are all transitioning out of this 3D into the 4D. I think you're here to bring that through and remind people of that, which is really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. So what I'm going to be doing now is I have these cards which have crystals on them. Now when I journey to different realms, I'll usually have like a healing gift, or there'll be a gift brought to me by whatever collective I've connected to, but because this is a pick a card reading, the way I'm doing it is I'm going to pull these cards, which is going to be a message from these collectives to you guys with these cards. So let's get in. So pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Pile number 4. What gift? I'm going to say the unicorns and the tree people because we know that's who we're connecting with. So what gift and guidance do my pile number 4s need from the tree people and the unicorns? What gift of guidance? I swear I just shared one of my cats. I swear I did. Okay, so we have Herkimer Diamond. Hope I pronounced that one correctly because I've never heard of that crystal before, actually. So we have what it is. Herkimer diamonds are not in fact diamonds. They are far more attainable, extra hard, clear quartz beauties with their own alluring energetic properties. Found in New York's Mohawk Valley, the clarity in 2 naturally faceted ends of Herkimer's earn them their diamond moniker. Who needs it? Reiki masters, travelers on the spiritual path, and highly sensitive people. Where to put it? In spaces you want to zone as sacred. And when to use it? When you're reaching for clearer than ever through spirituality, therapy, or healing work. Brush off all those unwanted vibes with Herkimer Diamond. And the message is power wash your energy. And I think the message of this card as well is to not let the blueprint that is trying to be installed on earth of rushing around, giving your power away, playing small. Don't let that take over your vessel, because your energy is very grand and you're here to love and bring that love through. And don't let anybody make your heart and your compassion and that beautiful love that you have. It's like they're telling me the word fertility, because it's this love that just keeps growing and rebirthing from you. And I think that you have so much joy in you, and I think maybe sometimes people have tried to tell you that it's too much, and it's not. And that's a strong message, you know, really coming through. Don't let the ways of the world trying to be mean and you know, and black and white, don't let them taint that, you know. Observe, don't absorb is the message with that one. So let's pull one more. What gift of guidance do the tree people and their unicorns have for my pile number 4s? I feel like you guys download a lot with the sun. I'm showing somebody in a garden taking in like cosmic rays and stuff. I feel like even with the moon as well, if you do that with the moon, there's something about really taking from the elements and being able to bring messages from the elements, as well as bringing messages from grounds you've walked on and tapping into that ancient energy from those grounds and the trees and the rocks and everything. I think that you have such a connection there. The next card and final card we have then is selenite, which, let me just pop that here. We have selenite, and the message is what it is. I see selenite is a form of gypsum with a calm, cool, and collective vibe. Who needs it? Healers, believers that are currently cleansing, whether it's through juice, technology, etc. Where to put it? Wherever you want the slate wiped clean, like besides your bed table after a brutal work week, or around your apartment after somebody extra shady visits. When to use it? When you move into a new space and want any lingering bad juju to vamoose. When you pray to gods above. When you've been working with crystals and want to clear away energy they've picked up on in the process. Give them a gentle tap with selenite. Clear your path to enlightenment. And I think that what's beautiful for you guys is your path to enlightenment is through your own roots, which is through Mother Gaia. You bring such wisdom and can bring such wisdom from Mother Gaia, because there's a deep connection there. And I think that this reading for you guys, I think what the tree people wanted to do was more so remind you, and like that, letting me know, plug you back in. And that's what they said. We're just plugging them back in. We're just rooting them back in. And they're showing me like plugs to electronics in your feet, and it's like they're taking them off, and then they're like your feet are going into like little tree roots, and you're just sitting, and you're just the currents then are going through from the earth into your body, and it's like you're seeing that again, and it's more so they're coming through with the reminder of who you are and where you are. Look at where you've incarnated. How cool is this? It's like that's what they're kind of bringing through. It's a really fun energy coming through. So thank you very much to the unicorns and the tree people for coming through with these messages. Pile number 4, thank you for clicking on this reading and being open to these messages. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if this reading resonated for you and you guys enjoyed. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.